The Checkpoint is presented by GM Pharma, the first international multinational pharmaceutical company in Georgia. GM Pharma, to serve those who need it most.
Hello, I'm glad to host you here in our TV studio. What are you up to?
Hello, I'm glad we met. As you are aware, I've spent most of my career in the banking sector and later a significant portion of it in the private sector. With the experience I gained, my colleagues and I established an asset management company and an investment company. I'm talking about the Foresight Capital, in which I serve as a director general.
Tell us about Foresight Capital. Is it an asset management company only?
Foresight Capital is an investment company offering new investment opportunities to Georgians. In our practice, bank deposits and residential real estate for further rent purposes are the most common investment instruments here. Investments offered by us to the market are different. The unit rate of the investment company or a stock is highly secure, meaning that any investment made by an investment company is secured by commercial real estate. Secondly, it has high return. We expect per unit revenue to be at least 5% per annum. And third is diversification.
And do you mean the diversification of the portfolio?
Exactly. The portfolio is diversified because the investments are made in different companies operating in different fields, which of course, as I mentioned, are secured with commercial real estate. It is worth to be mentioned that Foresight Capital is a platform connecting businesses looking for flexible financing and investors with surplus resources. The investment company itself is registered by the National Bank of Georgia and operates under its supervision.
With appropriate register and all the other relevant stages that you must pass following all the corresponding procedures?
Absolutely. We've come a long way in registering and studying the corresponding law, which on its side was difficult but interesting.
The positioning of the investment companies alongside the banking sector happens when the capital market is underdeveloped. I hope that soon it will change for the better.
Good point. The policy and the concept of our investment company are that it does not compete with the banking sector, neither in terms of attracting nor allocating cash resources. Our financial instruments and investment policies are completely different from those of the banking sector and constitute a completely different instrument that is not secured in their policy.
Was that one of the reasons that encouraged you to start an investment company with your partners, or were there any other determinants?
Around 4 to 5 years ago, we tried to register a company for the purpose of attracting and placing money, but in one of the foreign countries. Then, for various internal and external reasons, the process could not have been carried out.
Have you been thinking on a similar format?
We did. However, the law on investment funds passed by the Parliament of Georgia in 2020 made us realize the aspiration of creating this project. In December of 2020, we started communicating with the National Bank of Georgia on this issue, and it took us almost a year and a half to register the company, which was a very interesting process.
Gia, what are the competitive advantages of Foresight Capital? You have mentioned some of them already, including the separation from the banking sector and that they are secured by real estate.
We have several competitive advantages. First, our main task is to ensure investors. We achieve this by securing our investments by real estate. This one is the most important factor. It refers to specific locations as well as real estate owned and operated by the business itself.
The business itself?
Yes, the business itself, for which securing it with commercial real estate represents one of the main securities. Offering high return is another competitive advantage. This is provided by banks in which we are investing. Their return is higher than of residential real estate or bank deposits. The third competitive advantage is diversification of the portfolio. I would like to mention company's team, both founders and the management, their professionalism, experience and dedication to their work, the knowledge they have acquired in the international or local market.
That's exactly what my upcoming question is about. Your team members, partners with whom you were discussing the idea of creating the company, later registered at the central bank and finally launched Foresight Capital on the market. So, who are your team members?
I sincerely believe that the greatest value in business is people. Gia Morchiladze and Georgi Gogochuri are the founders of the company. Archil is a US-educated financier whom I think you know in person. He has a sound experience in financial and investment organizations, operating both internationally and locally. As for Georgi Gogochuri, he is a businessman behind many successful projects and has an acumen to discover interesting, profitable and successful deals. As for the management team that works with us, they are experienced lawyers, financiers and investment analysts.
While preparing for our interview, I came across two more people on your company's website whom I know well. One of them is Mr. Vano Vakhtangishvili, the former vice president of the National Bank of Georgia. What role does Mr. Vakhtangishvili has in the company?
He is the member of the supervisory board. The supervisory board has been established in the company in accordance with the law.
Do you mean the statutory requirement?
Yes, it's a prerequisite of the Investment Fund Act. Levan Diasamidze is the chairman of the council. Levan has served at the top managerial position at Commercial Bank for years. Mr. Vano Vakhtangishvili has been working in the Georgian banking sector for decades and was the vice president of the National Bank of Georgia for 7 years, 15 years ago.
How is the investment policy determined? Is the whole team involved?
We worked hard on the writing of the investment document that was a statutory requirement. The document was developed by us, the founders. It was then approved by the board and then submitted for the registration to the central bank and agreed and approved by the bank's relevant department.
Is the size of the fund charter capital legal requirement? As this is relatively new law and you and some other companies are laying the groundwork.
Currently, Foresight Capital is not large. It's a modest company with $30 million in value. The terms are determined for 5 years. It is a finite fund. It starts and ends at exact dates. Investors are receiving their returns during 5 years. They receive dividends on a weekly basis, while the fixed capital is returned at the end of the term.
Is it secured by real estate during all the time? Besides that, what real estate are we talking about?
We are talking about real estate with operating business, which on its side is our target company in which we are investing. The commercial real estate and its appraisal are the key factors influencing our investment decisions. Our company has and will have primary mortgages, primary collateral for real estate, and therefore this is a very important detail for our company and its investors.
Beyond competitive rates and other advantages, do you think that real estate will present itself as a major competitive advantage for the market?
Definitely. It's the cornerstone of our business. One can't find real estate investment instruments with such a high interest rate easily in the market. Here, interest rates are incomparably higher than those of deposits. This is an imperative detail for our business. We do not take operational risks when investing. Our investment is focused primarily on property, which in most cases includes real estate. Herewith, I would like to give an example of one of our projects in which we are investing.
I'm all ears.
It is a medical company that owns real estate, where in the meantime an international clinic is operating. The latter is the operational company of the former. Our investment will be directed to the company that owns this real estate in this component, and not only that, with our investment we will also purchase additional motor equipment for the operating company to allow it to function successfully. This model works for everyone because the operating company will reallocate its resources to development and provision of improved service and will share the rent fee, the cost of the equipment and the cost of the property with us, the investors. As often as not, we invest in real estate, although it can sometimes be a partially movable property, which is a major part of the business that operates there, but for which we get a quarterly rent fee.
You have chosen an interesting model indeed. I'm glad to witness the flourishing of various business models that create alternatives in our slowly developing capital market.
Let me present my own example. When I went to a bank to prolong my deposit, I was offered less than 1% interest rate on foreign currency. It wasn't long ago. First I got angry, but then realized that there were huge opportunities in the market. So we started this business. We see how low the interest rates on deposits are. As for the residential real estate, the rate in the case of successful renting is not high. It has high maintenance cost and takes time. Therefore, our product is competitive and better than other options.
From this newly established Business TV studio, I would like to send my warm greetings to your partners and wish you best of luck. Thank you for your visit.
Much obliged.
The Checkpoint is presented by GM Pharma, the first international multinational pharmaceutical company in Georgia. GM Pharma, to serve those who need it most.